Hello, welcome to another episode of SoFly. It's the middle of September, and we're recording another episode.
It's
My
the
name
end
is
of the
Mitch.
middle of September.
We've got Aldo here.
Oh, sorry. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. We're recording this one the day before it comes out, September 15th to September 14th. Nice Sunday night. And we got a little catch-up show here, a little How She Do show with me and Aldo, where we're going to talk about fall, because that's coming up. Just a little quick chat, a little quick check-in, a little quick How She Do.
It's going to be the autumn season primer.
Yeah. And also just a nice opportunity to chat with us, and enjoy just a little SoFly chat. Sans guest.
Yeah, almost like a channel update, if you will, but a podcast.
How She Do. But before we get into that, why don't we talk about some of the local news as we usually do?
Of course. Well, September 20th still is a volunteer tree planting day with Ontario Streams. It's at Cold Creek Conservation. We'll put the link in the show notes, but you can register at ontariostreams.ca. But make sure you register, of course. And we did it last year and it was super fun. Like, I would encourage anybody to go because it doesn't take that long.
It's tree planting day was super fun.
You'll meet a bunch of fun people that some who fish and some that don't, and of course you'll meet the entire Ontario Streams team, which is cool because maybe you want to get involved with them.
And as we mentioned last time, don't wear
waders. You won't be
unless
in the water.
This one's not in the water, right? It's still at Cold Creek, so don't wear your waders because we wore our waders and we were really hot. Yep. And it wasn't fun. We sweat a lot.
You'll be in a riparian zone, so you're not really exactly near water, but it does
influence water
and save what's it called, like groundwater as well.
Yeah.
Cold groundwater. And which is really great. So yeah, tree planting, Ontario Streams, September 20th. Boom.
Be there, be square. What else? Any other mentions?
Well, actually, Ducks Unlimited.
Yes.
Got contacted by Ducks Unlimited. Of course, all of us anglers know Trout Unlimited. I'm assuming most people who listen to this podcast know who Ducks Unlimited is, but they are also a
similar thing to Trout Unlimited.
Similar thing, but their focus, as the name suggests, is on
quackers. Quack, quack.
And where they live, and they restore, protect, and research wetland habitat, which of course, is a vital part of any ecosystem, especially any kind of waterway ecosystem.
Yep.
We all benefit from healthy wetlands. Good fishing starts with, great wetlands,
Oh, big time.
So Ducks Unlimited, they do all that work. They are, restoring habitats or researching habitats. They're leading research, just like what Ontario Streams and Trout Unlimited does.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, what do they got? What's going on with them?
Until September 30th, they're running a contest called Hooked on Habitat.
Yeah.
And so you can actually directly help Ducks Unlimited by going to ducks.ca/fishing and entering into a sweepstakes, the Hooked on Habitat sweepstakes, brother.
Hooked on, what's the website called again?
You can go to ducks.ca/fishing, which of course we will put in the show notes, and you can help raise money and enter a contest to win a 4-day fishing adventure at Plumber's Lodge. For OG fans of the show, years ago, we had Alex Ginther on the show, who is a guide at Plumber's Lodge. Plumber's Lodge is on Great Slave Lake, and they're a world famous operator, and they've got huge fish, huge lakers and whatnot. And so you can win a 4-day trip. You can win a tracker boat.
What are the specs on that bad boy?
Oh my God. I don't know. I'm just going to read what they've got here. It's like V16 with a 40 ELH.
Oh man.
Well, they've got a 44-stroke Mercury on it.
44
and a trailer.
Wow. I've heard of 2 strokes, I've heard of 4 strokes, never heard of a 44 stroke.
Yeah. It's a tiller. What?
Yeah.
It's a 40 horsepower 4-stroke tiller.
I know. I was messing with you.
It's a tiller. I love tillers.
Sick. Yeah, who doesn't?
And then there's other great prizes from people like Yeti and Rapala.
Yeti always really coming through.
But the point is, It's $10 for a ticket, $25 for 3, and $50 for 7 tickets. And
Yeah.
all that money goes directly to Ducks Unlimited. So, if anybody's ever been to one of our fundraisers, it's pretty much the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You're buying a raffle ticket, you might win a prize, but even if you don't, you're donating directly to Ducks Unlimited. That's pretty cool. It's the Hooked on Habitat sweepstakes,
There you go.
ducks.ca/fishing. You've got until September 30th to enter.
Wow. Smashing. We'll put the link to that in the show notes too. Why not?
Oh, dude, we absolutely will.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna check real quick to
Please.
see if Drift has anything coming up, but I don't think they do.
Give it a check, Rooney.
Are
Are there any local like fishing events around us happening? Like I haven't heard of anything like I used to be the Spay Clave and there used to be the
No,
nothing, eh?
no, not really. No Spake. That's I was
Haven't
just
heard
looking
of
at the lessons and events at Drift Outfitters, but they do have Spake. They did have a Spake casting school,
Yeah.
but it looks like it is almost sold out.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, sorry, September 28th is almost sold out, but they have October 18th available as well.
Hey,
There's
that's cool.
2 time slots, an 8 a.m. and a 12:30 p.m. Time slot.
Yeah.
It looks like the Sunday, September 28th just has 12:30.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something right now. Talk about fall primer. You want to get your space skills dialed in for the fall if you're going to be swinging flies.
Yeah.
Hopefully there'll be some swinging going on, and it's a good time to go get the cast zoned in before you hit the river.
Yeah, for sure, big time. So yeah, it looks like September 28th, October 18th. Drift is having a little intro to spade casting school, which is awesome. There's a beginner and an intermediate.
Smashing.
So yeah, just go to driftoutfitters.com, and if you go to their fly fishing tab, there's a lessons and events section, and you can read all about it and register for the course that best suits you. And I want to say, I'm just going to look at the Ottawa Fly Fishers really quickly because I could have sworn I saw today that they posted something about a Stillwater class.
They did actually on the Bing retreat. It was actually a little tournament, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right, 100%.
Isn't that so fun?
October 5th at the Bing retreat in Godfrey, Ontario, which is not that far from Ottawa. There's a lock style fly fishing competition, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
That they're putting on.
2-person teams, $99 registration, includes fishing rights and the boats because they got boats and little electric motors on the Bing retreat. What a fun thing. Lock style at the Bing. Kind of cool. Lock style fishing competition. Stillwater fishing competition. That's going to be cool.
It's going to be super
retreat,
cool.
We've talked about the Bing a couple times.
Hell
Very
yeah.
neat place outside of Ottawa where you can go and Stillwater fish for nice rainbows.
Big old rainbows.
Yeah.
And then it looks like one of their members, Nicole Tracy Lewis, is doing an online class, actually, which is kind of cool, with I Fish, I Belong. And whoever
with Ottawa Fly Fishers?
Whoever at Ubuntu Fly Anglers is. So yeah, go check out the Ottawa Fly Fishers Society on Instagram because you can register for that online Stillwater class, which is really cool because that means you don't have to physically be in Ottawa or where the class is. And Nicole, who is a Ottawa fly angler herself, is co-hosting the class. That's kind of cool, an online class.
Very cool. There you go.
What do you think about that?
I think it's smashing. Absolutely smashing, Basil. I saw the Bing retreat thing. I thought that was really cool. Kind of got me thinking about
going to the Bing retreat.
Just kind of a fun little thing.
Yeah, so that's everything that's going on. There's Tree Planting Day, the Ducks Unlimited contest, space schools with Drift Outfitters, and a Stillwater competition in Ottawa, sort of.
Spam. Okay, let's get into the main section of the show where it's going to be us talking some more, and it's coming at you right after these words.
Bonk.
Okay, we are back here, and we are going to talk about fall primer for a couple different species. Fall primer being, I think what we touch on today is we talk a little bit about like our gear kind of loadout and like what we get how we get our bags ready for the fall, what kind of gear are we stocking up on, What are we planning for? What times are we maybe planning those? What are we looking forward to? Just chat about that kind of stuff. I mean, there's two different species really that we're going to target in the fall. Most recently, musky has been a species that's come on our radar, but of
Mhm.
course, steelhead is an ongoing species of choice. So those are two very different loadouts.
Oh
Where
yeah.
do you want to start? Because we are going musky fishing this fall a couple
Uh,
times, but specifically once with our friend Josh in Ottawa, which is going to be fun
yeah.
because we were
Well,
talking
I
about
think
that last
it
year.
should be worth mentioning if we haven't really met. Like we mentioned on the last show, but if you're listening to this fall primer show and you didn't listen to the last show, Mitch is moving to Ottawa
I'm moving to Ottawa.
in October.
So my fall loadout's going to be quite musky forward
It's going to
moving
be a
forward.
lot different than ours. So I
I'm
think
still going
yeah.
to plan on steelhead though. But yes.
Are you? Okay, great. That's great. Well, I think first and
Ooh.
foremost,
Yeah.
it's September now. We've
Yeah.
got 15 days left of resident trout season here in Southern Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
That season is winding down.
Things are
Uh,
cooling down.
Things are cooling down. I mean, not that cool, but it's
Yeah.
still cool. So fall bass is definitely an option.
True too.
It totally is. But I think for people that are maybe new to fishing in Southern
Mm.
Ontario, or maybe you're planning a trip to Southern Ontario, it should be noted that uh, predator fishing like pike and muskie, and of course the Great Lakes game, is kind of the only game in town for a little while. Anyway,
Yeah.
and for people that don't know, you can go to check your regs because there are a lot of rivers like the Credit River and the Humber that we mentioned in town, but there are rivers all around Southern Ontario that have an extended
Yeah.
season for trout
Yeah.
and migratory species up until the last day in December,
A delicioso.
which is really quite awesome because
Yeah.
it extends our season significantly. And then in terms of muskie, definitely check your regs. But we like fishing for. It's about to be a really great time to fish for muskie
Yeah.
in
Water starts
October.
cooling. Everything gets cooler. Musky are fierce, but of course, survivability and catch and release is much more. I guess it's better when the water's colder because the fish are a little bit stressed out when it's hot. So it's not a great time to fish musky when it's hot. But fall is a good time to do it. Of course, the fish are starting to feed and stock up for the winter. And so, yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, I think we're planning on doing a little bit of muskie outside of maybe the trip with Josh in the Ottawa area. But why don't we talk? Why don't we start with steelhead because that's kind of the one we're more used to. Muskies, I think, is a a sort of fishery that we're just starting to really get into. I mean, we've only really done it a handful of times. We're not really like going out for muskie on our own volition yet, per se, but that is to come. Why don't we start with steelhead and then kind of touch on maybe some musky stuff? What is your like fall plan when it comes to your steelheading gear look like? What kind of rods are you dusting off? What kind of things are you making sure you got in your bag? What fly patterns are you really making sure you're stocked up on besides the squirmy worm?
Hey.
No, hey. Some of the rivers that we fish demand the squirmy. And without it,
the fish yearn for the worm. They
they
yearn for
really
the
do.
worm,
They
brother.
really do. But are there, what else are you throwing in that bag?
Okay. Because there's also this other thing that we kind of have to get ready, which is our raft. This is when the raft
Yeah.
sees the most amount of work.
That's another good one too. Yeah. I mean, how are we
how we're
fixing up the
gonna
raft?
pack. So I think my mind first goes to okay, yeah, you're right, the setups. So
Yeah.
I don't know what everybody's shit looks like at home, but at my house, I have bins. I'm a bin type of person.
Yeah.
I've got all my fly lines, leaders, and any kind of terminal tackle kind of thing in a bin.
It's great.
I've got a box full of big fly boxes, like big Plano style fly boxes, and then I kind of arrange them for the season.
This
So when
people might think it's silly to talk about this bin stuff, but I'll tell you right now, if people are listening and they don't know the bin system, it's sick.
because you
you're
just
talking
went.
like, what, say it, go again.
Oh, I'm just saying you went out and bought a bunch of bins, right?
I just bought a
Get
bunch of
yourself
bins.
organized. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm talking
but
about black giant bins that you get
Yeah.
at like Home Depot.
Or like like Ryan, our friend, when we went to Manitoulin recently, or McGregor Bay rather, in Whitefish Falls, he had at that cottage they had these just like small plastic. If you watch on YouTube, you can see like clear bins that size, but like a bunch of them stacked. So sick, man. Like if you were to just like come up with a system where you had like lines, like leaders, hooks, like all these, you could do so many and zero in on. Honestly, that's a kind of tip that one's free. You can keep the change on that one. The bin system is sick.
It's just especially after obviously starting joining SoFly. You started SoFly.
Yeah,
After joining SoFly, and we were lucky to be sponsored.
yeah.
We do get sent a lot of product. Can't lie
Mhm.
about that. We get sent a lot of stuff to either photograph, film, review, use. And also working at Drift.
Giveaway.
When I was
Yeah,
working at Drift, I just started buying a bunch of shit.
totally. Of course,
Bought
you're
a lot of
surrounded by it all day.
gear,
Yeah,
and so now I've got like a ton of stuff. I've got our SoFly stuff. I've got our SoFly schools stuff. I have.
yeah.
So I just like after I really tackled the basement one day, it was like I turned it into a bin system. So anyway, I start rearranging my like what I'll call go box.
Yeah.
So I've got like I have a Sims boat box,
Mhm.
and I keep everything in there. So it's like I pare down. It's like so
Mhm.
from the giant bin of stuff, then I
Mhm.
pare down, and then I keep my go-to rods rigged and ready to go, so I can just pop them in the truck and leave. Because I live in downtown Toronto. Fortunately, my truck has already been stolen once. I've had another car get rifled through. I don't keep anything in the truck.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good
So
idea.
I don't have a garage. I live in an apartment, so I
Yeah.
bring everything to the car every time I go fishing. So what does that mean for me? Steelheading in Southern Ontario, you can swing for them, you can nymph for them, you can walk and wade, you can raft. There's a lot of different ways to fish, so I
Yeah.
like to have a few things set up.
Mhm.
Single hand side of things, I'll keep a 10-foot 6 Reddington EDC all set up, ready to go, and that is what I do my walk and wade nymph fishing with.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can set it. I can set up a Euro leader on that. I can set up an indicator rig on that, and that's my go-to. They're making just 6 weights, or I would say 10-foot 7 is another quintessential rod that you should have, but mine's at the bottom of a lake
That's right.
in Northern Ontario.
That was a
So
go-to steelhead rod for you,
so
though.
that was my go-to rod for me as well, and that was like
Yeah.
I would single hand swing with that one.
Mhm.
So those are kind of like my two setups. So I'm gonna have to figure out something about single hand swinging. But
Yeah.
other than that, I have my switch rod, which I love,
Mhm.
the 11-foot 6 weight dually,
Yeah, that's a great rod.
and I rigged that with the 10-foot 6 single hand and the switch rod. I have the same, not the same exact line because obviously they're two different weight classes, but I have the Rio switch indicator line.
Yep.
And the Rio indicator line, it's white and red, and it just is so amazing
Mhm.
for those indicator rigs.
Yep. Yeah.
Whether you're using squirming worms, eggs, nymphs.
Well, it just makes casting all day so easy, right? Just turning over that line, getting the indicator out there effortlessly. Especially that dually, it's like nothing. Like that thing's so sick. You barely have to move. You're just like,
I know,
like a quick little roll cast, and
it's matched so well with
Yeah.
that.
Which line is that again? You said it's the Rio indicator line?
The Rio indicator line. And then for the switch, it's a switch, and it's the same line, but it's like they call it the switch indicator because.
And is
it's
it just
made
like a
for
heavy
switch
front
runners.
taper? Is that what makes
It's
it
actually a
like, unique?
heavy middle taper.
Heavy middle
So you
taper.
have a really
It's
like
almost
you
like
have a thick body on that baby,
yeah.
and so you can roll cat. The whole point is that you
Yeah, it's
don't
almost like
really
a double
want to
taper
be
line.
overhand casting that much with these indicator rigs. It's a pain. It's like a recipe for getting tangled. I don't know about you, but especially when we're
You just don't
fishing
need to, yeah.
certain rivers where we have like 12-foot leaders.
Yeah.
And roll casting and doing water loaded and waterborne casts are essential. So yeah, the Rio indicator line has been really great. And then my spay rod's a 12-foot 2, 12-foot 2-inch. They call them 7 weights, but I kind of wish they wouldn't weight spay rods. You really need to know the grain weight so you can get the proper, either a Scandi or Skagit setup on it. I think it would be really helpful if every company would just put the grain weight associated with the spay rod, because a 7 weight is like not all. You can't just go out and buy a 7 weight spay line. I mean, you can, but like it doesn't always match properly.
With the rod,
The rod.
because of that,
So
the specifications of each of the spay rods.
correct. And then I
Mm,
have a 12.5 foot 7 weight, let's call it,
yeah,
Claymore from Reddington.
that's right. The Claymore.
So the loop rod that I have, I keep a Skagit setup on. Skagit setups, for people who are listening, there are a much heavier but shorter shooting head.
Mm,
You could argue easier to cast in a way because they're heavier, and
the
so
Skagit heads.
they just
Yeah,
fucking
they just
launch.
launch. Yeah, you're just like shooting a bullet.
Yeah, but it's a shorter head to set your anchor. So and then
Yeah,
with the longer rod, I have my Scandi setup.
there you go.
Like, oh, and I have a tip system for both of them. Like I have a floating, hover, intermediate,
Yep, a couple sync types.
and a couple sync types for where I'm fishing. But I might kick, and then yeah, I definitely nymph more than it's no secret. I go nymphing way more than I do swinging,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well, it makes sense down here. I mean, like, there's really
but you're
good.
the swing daddy.
I know, but they're just like where I like to swing. The water that I like to swing on hasn't been that productive for fish in the last few years because we've had no friggin' rain. The rivers have been so low. So the single handed thing has definitely moved up in my arsenal more in the last couple of years as we fished certain rivers for fish nymph style and indicator fishing. Yeah, that's definitely been more effective in catching fish.
Yeah, and I think like obviously it's hard to get away from the squirmy worm in the egg, especially close. I think I like to
Yeah,
think steelheading starts in a way at Canadian Thanksgiving.
yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
It's kind of when I start thinking about because
Yeah.
the salmon are in right now,
Hmm.
and it can be a bit of a scene. Can't really
Oh
mince
my
words.
God, is it ever? I
There's a
feel
lot.
bad for those guys.
I know I feel bad for the
The
salmons.
salmon, poor bastards.
Yeah. But the steelhead
Be kind
eaters,
to them, everybody.
seriously.
Hmm.
But steelhead do follow them in, and they do eat their eggs. So you are kind of matching the hatch when you're using like either yarn
There's nothing
eggs
wrong with using eggs.
or
Nothing wrong
oh,
with using eggs at all.
I use the ecstasy now.
Ecstasy. Tell me more about this ecstasy. That
It's just
material,
it's just a
it's like
material. You do like
crystally.
it takes like 3 wraps to make a great looking egg. And then
Yeah.
there's a lot of schools of thought on whether you should weight your eggs or not.
Mm.
I have both weighted and unweighted. I use
I think you should
tungsten.
unweight them, baby.
I use tungsten beads.
I mean, it makes sense. Like if you're fishing certain water quality and you want to get your egg down, it's totally fine. But when you think about it, you could you could fish. I mean, like eggs are probably floating in the water column. They're light. They're not heavy, right?
Correct.
So you know what I mean. I mean, it's very condition dependent. Same with squirmies too. I think having them unweighted is a rather titillating thing because that thing is just going to be shimmying and shammying through the water column
Yeah, I
versus
mean,
being
I don't know how
sucked
much
down
time
on
I'm
the
going to
bottom.
spend on squirmy worm science, but
This is it. This is what the show is, baby.
no,
It's
no, I know.
Squirmy Worm
But
episode.
Jordan and I had a spirited debate on his boat
Jordan
last
Pocket.
year,
Yeah. Hmm.
and he was like, "I'm all about unweighted worms now because they float through the water column a little bit more."
Just looks so
And
wormy.
unfortunately, not for unfortunately, but like if you think about a Texas or a wacky rig,
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing.
you
Mind you,
know,
they've got the weight,
but
what,
so do
6, 8
we
inches above. Yeah, with the split shot,
with
exactly,
the split
100%.
shot, right? So you
Mhm.
are fishing the same thing.
Totally,
You know
exactly.
the split shot is down, but you're not going to get hung up as much,
Yeah.
and you
It
know
just
that
looks real in the water,
because the other problem is sometimes you're so deep you're actually fishing underneath fish, so you need to be aware
Yeah,
of that too.
that's true too.
Because fish don't.
Why can't squirmies be technical? Come on, baby. Squirmy wormy. I like
But
it.
yeah, for the eggs, like yeah, you kind of got to try and match the density of like a real egg and like what it's supposed to, because they do sink. They're meant to be on the river bottom.
Yeah.
But if they get dislodged, yeah, totally, they're gonna float through the system but tumble through the rocks. So there's definitely an argument for both. But
Yeah.
there are certain rivers that we walk and wade that you can sort of Euro nymph for the steelhead,
Hmm.
and those I use like an orange hotspot with
Yeah.
a yellow or a slightly orange-ish color.
Smashing.
Because if you're talking about egg science now,
Oh,
when
God.
the eggs are
Egg
freshly
science.
laid, they're that yellowy orange color, and
They're bright.
as the season goes on, they discolor and turn
Yeah.
white.
Yeah.
And chartreuse can be really good. Chartreuse can be really good for dark,
Mhm.
stained water. just by the way.
Hmm.
But it's hard for me to go away from orange. Orange is my confidence color. Then nymph wise, stonefly patterns are some of my fave, and I really like. I do fish just traditional nymphs, and they work really well in a few specific rivers. And
Yeah.
I'm talking like my go to like pink bead hare's ears, pink bead Frenchies, orange bead is real good at that time of year. Orange bead Frenchies, orange bead Waltz worms, and even down to size like 12, 14 can be
Yeah.
really effective still.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wouldn't fish anything lighter than, I don't know, 2x, 3x.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't go lighter than 3.
Because if you're
Definitely
like,
not.
if you're on super light tippet and you're just breaking fish off left, right, and center, like,
Yeah. What's the point?
fuck that. Like, what's that? What's the point? Land them.
Just yeah.
You
Just
know,
have them spook instead. What's the difference?
you're just putting them. You're just putting hooks in fish's faces. That's whack.
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Like Trip. I don't know if people remember. I mentioned Alex Ginther off the top of the show, which was like in the 20s. We had Trip Fontaine on a long time ago, and he always said if you don't have a
Yeah.
plan to land the fish, you shouldn't be fishing for them at all.
Yeah. That's a great way to think about it.
And Jordan said every muskie guy,
Very
we'll
true
get
for
into
muskie.
muskie,
Yeah.
but they're like, if you don't have a plan for when that fish hits the net, in terms of like if your tools aren't ready, if
Of
you don't
course.
have the tools,
Release tools very
if
important.
you don't have a plan to release these fish,
Yeah.
go fish for them. I mean, I guess if you're eating the steelhead, maybe you don't mind, but like,
Braining a muskie and just frying it up with some
no,
eggs.
no. I think most people, I think most everybody releases muskie now.
Yeah. 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 I mean,
That's kind of what I'm thinking. But I'm curious, Mitch, when it comes to swinging flies, what are some of your confidence flies
yeah.
and patterns, or like how are you getting ready?
Well, I
Because you
definitely
hate
gonna.
indicator nymphing.
That'll love. It's not my favorite. I do love swinging. It is my thing. But like I said, we've been fishing together. Like the groups of us go out, and that's kind of been fun in the fall. And we go to rivers where we indicator fish, and that's totally fine. I mean, you could still swing them, single hand swing, and it is cool when you catch a fish that way on those rivers. But obviously, we all like fishing streamers on little rivers too. It's fun. But yeah, swinging. Well, I've got my. Of course, I've got the Claymore, which I can't even remember exactly what spec that is. It's like an 8-weight Claymore, right? Maybe 11 foot, that kind of thing.
I think you had nailed it right on the head there, bud.
Well, there we go. I've used it a couple times, but I do have to admit that I prefer to bust out my Z Axis, which is an 8-weight. It's like a 13-foot rod, so it's a big old beefer. But it does work on it does fine on some of the rivers that we fish for swinging, and the rivers that I like to fish for swinging. When I make sure I have in my bag a variety of hooks and tube flies. Temple dogs have been my go-to for many years because you can get, of course, different sizes. I make sure that I've got some small. I make sure that I got some kind of medium, some larger ones, variations in color from all black to obviously the yellow oranges, and then you've got the greens and the blues. How much of a difference does it make? I mean, it depends more just on the stain of the water and that kind of thing. That's how I'm deciding whether or not to fish a smaller fly, a black fly, a little bit of color. But I love the Temple Dog tube flies. You can change out the hook sizes. You can make them single hooks, small barbless, and I've got some trebles in there as well, which is something that my uncle kind of showed me using the treble hooks.
The
On certain
tiny
rivers, you
trebles?
could do that. Yeah, the tiny trebles.
Yeah.
Which is just really nice because it just kind of locks into the fish's mouth. It doesn't move, doesn't cause a lot of damage, which is good. But some places you can't use those. So of course I've got a similar thing, but just with single hooks. So yeah, and then I'm going to this year try to get my hands on a friend of ours, Adam Pett, who's been building rods as well. I've been talking to him for a couple of years now about trying to get some flies, and it's just one of those things where he's got a job too, and he's like, "Oh, I got to tie those." I'm like, "Yeah," but he had some of those when we fished with him years ago. He gave me a couple of these really wicked patterns we mentioned on the show before. It's like a tube fly. Dark blue, purple, very symmetrical shape. So it's like it's very. I can't remember the name of the pattern. We've brought this up before. I know you remember because
they're like based off of like if anybody follows Kevin Feenstra,
Yes.
I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong. It's Feenstra, Feenstra,
Yeah.
Feenstra. Um, you know, I think his flies are so cool
They are very
because they're
interesting.
so odd. When it comes to swinging flies, like a temple dog or even like an intruder or something like that, I would consider it more of like a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe an intruder is a modern day classic, something like that, but you look at a grapefruit leach.
Yeah, it's very
Like what
wild
a
looking.
strange fly that is, but
It is
holy
strange.
hell, do they ever work?
Mm-hmm. And the one that I got from Adam is kind of like if you look at his flies, there's one called the Code Breaker, which just looks a lot like the ones that I just was tying for the lake trout we were fishing up at Blue Fox Camp. So it's kind of like that, but just without the dumbbell eyes and maybe a little less hackle around the head. But you know what I mean? Like material all the way around the tube, dark color. Anyway, that thing was sick. Like that season that he gave me those, I was hooking up quite a bit on the swing. So I'm gonna make sure to get my hands on some of those this year. And I think he's actually coming down here, so I might try to hit the
Adam,
water with him. Yeah, get a few flies
nice.
from him. Yeah. But yeah, apart from that, like you said, obviously I've got a Scandi line on the Z axis and I've got the different tips and sink. I make sure to have, a few different sink tips as well, 3 and 6s and stuff like that. So I can make sure, but I still like, it's kind of fun to always swing a dry line. That's really cool when you get that fish that comes up and catches you. You don't
How
catch
much
it,
is
it
that
catches
of
you,
that is
baby.
influenced by your uncle?
Um, well, it definitely started there. Like the first time I fished with him, he was like, "Let's just fish dry lines." I'm like, "Okay," and I actually hooked that fish. First steelhead I ever hooked was on a dry line, on a place we fished to this day. And that was just like really exciting because like when you get a fish on a dry line, the fish is like pretty feisty, pretty excitable. It really wants that fly. It smokes it. So it's just a very exciting way to fish because when it does happen, it's like Jesus. It's like I've done it multiple times since, fished dry line for steelhead and caught some really nice fish, and they're just absolute missiles, man. There's rockets, like they come up from the bottom, sometimes in 6, 7, 8 feet of water in certain pools, and they just smoke it, and it's very, very exciting way to catch a fish. So, I mean, yeah, why wouldn't you want to do that? And then obviously, steelheading is definitely not it's like muskie. It's not really not necessarily a game of numbers. So, sometimes you want to increase your chances and put a sig tip on. But,
Hmm.
uh, you know, that's kind of my loadout, my spay loadout. I do also have a whole bunch of more, if you want to call them traditional flies, but just like single hook flies, single hook spay patterns. Make sure to have a couple Lady Carolines in my wallet. It's a beautiful fly. I still have yet to
Yeah.
catch a steelhead on a Lady Caroline. I haven't done it. I haven't fished them enough to do it. I need to just spend the whole year just fishing a Lady Caroline. Maybe
Until
that's
it
what I'll do
happens.
this year. Yeah, because it's like my favorite fly. I think it's a beautiful fly. It's just a beautiful pattern. Like it's very fall. It's very steelhead to me, and so I'd love to try to get one on a Lady Caroline this year. That'd be cool. And then apart from that, I borrow your squirmy worms and eggs,
uh,
and I lose them all.
that is true. That is
Yeah,
true. I guess it is time to hit the tying bench again.
yeah,
For that's definitely a big part of the prep.
yep,
Yeah, I think I'd like to swing more flies this year too.
yeah.
It's
Well,
hard to get
dude,
it
even some of the places that we go that are single hand rivers, and traditionally you're gonna catch more fish when you nymph. I don't want to name the rivers, but you know which one I'm talking about. Where you go and you nymph that thing, like you could pick that. You personally pick that thing apart. You're fucking euro nymphing it, doing anything else, and you could find the fish. Bam, there's a fish. There's a fish. But if you go to some of those bigger pools and you swing a fly first, or just make that part of your day. Who the hell knows? Might happen. Like that's where I mentioned that one fish that came up from probably 6 or 7 feet of like it came up from the bottom
Oh,
and
it
hit,
was a beautiful buck.
and the thing hit my fly was like maybe an inch below the surface. It was a dry line. I was just swinging that blue fly I was talking about, the pet
Yeah,
fly that kind of looks like that fly from fucking Fenstra.
the
Um,
code breaker.
the code breaker kind of looks like that. But yeah, the thing came up and just hammered the fly. And that was the first cast. So if you go to that river, you go to a river that you single hand fish and typically nymph, try swinging a couple and then switch a nymph and spend, some time breaking it apart. And then if you hit another pool, just friggin' swing a dry line over it and see what happens. Probably most of the time nothing will happen, but when it does, it's gonna be really cool, you know. But you
Right.
could just make it part of your routine,
Right. Yeah.
you know. Which you kind of already do when we take the drift boat out, right? Sometimes you're swinging streamers and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely, I would say that jig streamers have become part of the indicator routine.
Yeah,
So, that's definitely has expanded the.
yeah, for
Obviously,
sure.
those are radically different presentations, but I will say, getting into the jig streamer game, whether it be like a
I
smell
love the
pattern, like a
way.
like a white death, like something like that.
Yeah.
White deaths are still really great. Jig I did really well on in stained water on orange bead,
Hmm.
black marabou, jig
Oh
streamers.
yeah.
Kind of, they don't, they
I just love
almost
the
look
way
like a
that jig
vamp.
sits in the water. Like
Almost
when
looks like a
it's
vamp leech in a way that's on a
yeah.
jig. That's on a jig hook
They
with.
all kind of look like vamp leeches.
They all
They've
kind of
got all
look like
these
woolly
names, but
buggers.
they're all woolly buggers, just
You
different
know,
names. Yeah.
but the white death is an awesome pattern. Rabbit
Yeah.
strip, white rabbit strip. I find a silver bead is really great, but you could go gold bead. You could do whatever the fuck you want. But
Yeah.
the white death's definitely in the arsenal now.
Yeah.
Like I'll definitely, it's really hard for me if I'm nymphing to
Hmm.
not have one of the flies be a squirmy worm
Of course.
as insurance. But there are days where the jig streamer or just a hare's ear or like a pheasant tail outfish
Yeah,
is
or
good.
even like an
So how are
hour
you
or
getting
two
your
within the
bags
day.
ready? Like, do you have a system?
Yeah, I've got a bag for every type of fishing that I do. So I've got my trout bag. I've got a couple trout bags. I've got a warm water bag. So like kind of a bass bag. Then I've got like a pike and my bass bag's my wallet bag. I got like a pike and musky bag. And then I've got a steelhead bag. And the steelhead bag, I keep all my stuff in there. So I just go at the start of the year and I open it up and I find old granola bar wrappers. I find old bagel wrappers. I find that I'm missing all my tips and my flies are everywhere. So I could go in and clean it all up. But I keep all my reels in there, and I've got my swinging reel, by the way, which is I still have yet to get a fish on that one. I bought it a couple years ago, but I haven't really used it that much. But my Spaco reel, so I've got that in there. Which I love that reel. I think it's beautiful. And then I've got all my stuff in there, and I've got my flies and everything in one bag. That's kind of your system too, right? You got your one big bag, or it's your Sims boat box, right? You just swap it out every season, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I've seen
I
that
mean,
thing
like,
online.
definitely, if you're walking and waiting, I just use a backpack.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
I
Yeah,
use a
yeah.
backpack because obviously we're bundling up and stuff at this time of year. I probably have a jacket on,
Mine's a waist pack,
a
and
waist
that's the
pack.
great thing about the fall is your jackets too got a whole bunch of pockets.
Yeah. Yeah. So actually, that's another point too. I retreat jackets, like crack out the jackets, and if they need waterproofing, I have a little thing of that Nick wax. You're laughing because your impossibly old Columbia jacket.
I got to fix that this year. I'm gonna do that. I have to look into how. I don't know how. How do I make that thing waterproof again? Because it's maybe the least waterproof jacket I've ever seen in my life. Like it's not even raining and I'm wet. Explain that one. How
I
the hell is
can't.
that? What do I do to fix that? Like it's a Gore-Tex jacket. Do you know what to do?
You could retreat it. You could
Yeah,
try retreat it. Is it Gore-Tex? Like it's for sure. Like
it's
the brand
Gore-Tex.
is branded Gore-Tex.
Yep.
Wash it first of all.
Yeah.
Everyone should be washing their Gore-Tex stuff. By the way.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Why?
It makes it last so much longer.
Oh, really?
Even your waiters, you should be washing these things.
What?
I know the odds of anybody actually doing that are on the low side of things.
You're saying shouldn't or should wash them?
Should.
Should wash your waiters?
Yeah.
Like in a washing machine.
Big time.
You don't think that could agitate and put holes in them?
I mean, I don't know what kind of wash machine you have. You can hand wash them.
Hand washing's good.
You
I
know,
mean, not with like detergent, right?
yeah. I mean, you should regularly be washing your Gore-Tex because part of it is it's also going to help the breathability because it's a membrane, right? A little membrane action.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
But read the label. Obviously, Gore-Tex is a technology brand that leases their tech to brands like Columbia and
Yeah.
Sims and whatnot. So every person that uses Gore-Tex might have different care instructions based on the way they creative whatever they did create with Gore-Tex.
Same with waders. Don't put fucking Tide on your waders and then email us that they exploded or something. I don't know about this. But yeah, wash your Gore-Tex jacket and then treat it and then wax it or something like that.
Yeah, there's like those sprays that you can
I love this jacket.
Well, then try it, dude.
I'm obsessed. I gotta fix
I would check with Columbia or something, but let's like use if you were using your Gore-Tex jacket as an example.
Yeah.
Take everything out of the pockets, brother.
Right.
Seal the pockets. Close the zippers.
Yeah.
And if you want to clean using your washing machine, you definitely can. Use warm water in a gentle cycle, brother.
Okay, a GC. Didn't think about that. Okay. What about Musky? Do you want to talk about Musky really quick? I mean, we're still new to it, but do you want to just touch on just maybe some flies that we love? Well, I want to, one thing I just want to mention is what I want to get and what I'm going to look into is
that's it. With Steelhead, you're done?
I think so. I mean, unless we have more to put. Do we have more?
I don't
know.
Do you have any new flies you want to try out this year?
No, I don't. I'm a man of tradition. I'm a man of temple dogs and Lady Carolines. I don't stray.
Okay. You don't stray.
Well, you're moving away from just squirmies and eggs, huh?
Yeah.
Really?
Jig streamers.
Jig streamers, yeah, exactly.
Jig streamers, and I do have a couple.
That.
I got some cool. I got some cool flies at Melinda's Fly Shop in New York. Some cool swinging flies. Some really bizarre looking things that I want to try around here because I think they're pretty
interesting. Cool. Melinda's Fly Shop in New York.
Yeah, when I was when Josh. This could be a segue. Yeah. When Josh from Ottawa, him and I went to the Pulaski last February.
Yeah. And
March,
you got some cool swing. What do these patterns look like? What's cool about these patterns?
Oh, they look just zany. They look like very Fenstra-esque. Like they are big, bushy, bright patterns with lots of like amazing synthetic material. There's a lot of flash on them. Big heads. Some have like a big giant egg on them as well. So they're just like giant egg sucking leech swinging patterns. They're just full of flash, which is really cool.
Interesting. I don't know. See, I would have a hard time doing that because if like I know I'm on the river, I have confidence in a certain set of flies, and steelheading, swinging flies for steelhead's already going to be tricky. I do have a hard time moving away to something new. I got to be honest with you.
Right. Like but this is the year you're going to stick with the Lady Caroline and finally get one on a Lady
Honestly,
Caroline.
Maybe, yeah. Like that is something I would try to do because I just would love to catch a fish on that. But otherwise, I'd be like, well, this black temple dog's caught me fish before. I'll just use that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
If you're looking at that sparkly like Finstra fly going, I don't know about this thing. It's a little maybe too zany for me, but
it's caught you fish. Or an Adam Pett's version.
The Adam Pett one, yeah. I just mean like these new patterns you're talking about, like. But hey, once you get your fish on them, then I'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing that's kind of cool is like a couple of years ago when I was in New York at the Orvis store. Remember, like gave that little presentation about fly fishing in Northern Ontario or whatever. Sat in on the fly tying seminar.
Yeah.
Was it after or before my seminar? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Sat in on the fly tying seminar, and it was all about swinging flies, and it was the president of the Trout Unlimited Club.
Yeah.
And he ties because he swings the Genesee River in Rochester, and he ties a lot of flesh colored swinging flies.
Yeah.
Because he's convinced those steelhead are eating decaying salmon parts.
Right. Just chunks of salmon.
So he ties.
That's so interesting.
He ties like intruder style flies that look like that are in like that peachy, fleshy, white color, which is kind of interesting to me.
It is. I wonder if the salmon are eating the chunks of.
I mean, they use flesh flies
the steelhead
in Alaska.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But to me, I was always just
it's a very different place, but I mean, like,
it looks like a bait fish or something,
Yeah.
Versus like decaying salmon.
So I'd be curious to see if like white and pinks work well. But I mean, again, like you said, it's hard to
change.
It's hard to leave something that you're used to when you're swinging because, like you said, it's Well,
let's see this year. Let's find out. Let's go fish upstate.
I'm not gonna say it's guesswork. Like there are some people that go out and swing flies and get at least a hookup every time they go, which to me is like astounding.
It's incredible.
Like your Uncle Joe's buddy Bill and our buddy Bill.
Yeah.
He's
You
an
certainly need the
assassin with a
fish.
spare rod.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. There's lots of people in our community that go out and do well. Yeah. Well. Okay. So that's your go. That's your thing this year. You're gonna try some fleshy things.
I think just swinging more in general, and
things.
I know how much I just love swinging flies, and maybe we should
It's fun.
take the raft to some swinging water too.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like, let's get out of the
swing.
cycle of always going to the same place.
Yeah. Let's do it, brother. Well, Josh from Courage, yes, Musky. We're going to be going out with him in October. I'm curious to see what his flies of choice are. I learn a lot from him, and then I'm going to go and musky fish myself. Josh, I'm stealing your ideas because I'm moving to Ottawa. But no, I'm not going to take your spots, brother. Come on. I am. Also, I definitely am going to have some imposters in my box. I love that Bram's imposter. I think it's a friggin' wicked fly.
Yeah.
And then I really like the whole musky thing where people take like a clear tote box and then put like wire slots through it, and then you just like kind of like put your flies, hang them off of that. I think it's so cool looking. It's like heavy, it's big. It's like, you can display your flies properly and also make sure that the furs are being stored properly and the feathers are all like intact and it's not getting all wonky on you. But I think that's a cool thing. I'd like to have something like that for my kayak, like a big crate in the back that I just like fill with musky flies.
I think it's so smart.
It's
so cool when people do that. And like, I've been seeing people do it with really big bass flies too. Like those Schultz Outfitters guys on their, on their drift boats. Like they just have this huge thing which is really awesome.
It is cool. Hey, the Monster Mash tournament's happening again this year, right?
I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't heard from them. I haven't heard back from them. I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah. It's too bad because that'd be so fun. Well, anyways, that's just a musky tournament here in Ontario.
I just don't know what's going on there, so I don't know. I don't know, man.
Maybe one day.
I mean, it sounded like a really cool time.
What musky wise are you excited about, or like what are you honing in on for the season?
Well, I think what's cool is that last year we did we did some shows on musky, and we went musky fishing a little bit, like not a lot. Like you did your day with Jordan, and we kind of farted around. But this year we've definitely been fishing for musky a lot more. It's been something we've been talking about a lot more this year. It's been something we've been amassing gear for. We fished a little bit for musky over the summer, did some floats, obviously spent some time with Brian fishing for musky, which is cool. And it's all to this almost lead up, to this October season that we think we're going to have.
Yeah.
This like fall season. Sorry. It doesn't necessarily have to be just October. I just came from the Kawarthas today.
We'll talk about that in a bit
musky. So,
I can't believe you got a 55 incher. That's crazy.
I wish. That's sick.
That would be sick. Yeah. I can't remember the point you were going to make. I interrupted you.
Oh, the point I was going to make was like, from let's say a year ago, just like kind of talking about it on the podcast with guests.
Yeah.
And doing it haphazardly. This year, we definitely we're like, oh, I want to really, spend some time fishing for musky. So kind of like if this is talking about the fall primer, like what are you going to get ready for musky? Well, honestly, we've kind of been getting ready all year.
Mm-hmm.
I think we started to invest in, certain lines. That's a start, we started getting like those scientific anglers, musky and predator specific lines. They're awesome, especially the grain weights, like understanding certain what grain weights and what sink rates will sink certain flies, sizes of flies, starting to understand, it's not always the fly the size of your forearm. If this is actually going to catch the fish,
No, no, no.
certainly in certain water bodies, if that kind of forage exists, that is the
Yeah.
kind of fish that a muskie is going to eat. But they don't necessarily always eat that
Doesn't
huge
have to be
fish. So
that.
the prep has been all year. It started with rods. Now
Yeah.
we have nice like we've got some 11 weights, beefy and beefier 10 weights.
Yeah.
But the 11 weight is nice because when you hook it, you can actually land the fish
Yeah, I'm not trying to fight a muskie for forever here.
for very long at all.
No, you don't want to tire them out too much. Lactic acid builds up, and they could die pretty easily. They're very fragile fish, which is so funny because they're the most predator, scary fish in the water. So yeah,
and shit, dude. Like you filmed Musky Man too. Like a lot of musky things happened this year.
It's been a very musky year.
We've learned a lot about musky this year.
Totally.
And we all have our, me, you, Adis, we all have our tool sets. Each of us has a jaw spreader. Each of us has long nose needle point. It's not just one of us.
Bolt cutters is good to have.
All of us have that tool loadout now, which is super important. And Idis, more than any of us, has been amassing a fucking huge fly collection.
It's tying musky flies like a maniac down in that basement.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I hear like saws going, and I hear like drills and lights welding flashing. Like what's he doing down there? But his flies were working. We got some fish. So yeah, it's been definitely a musky learning period for sure.
We've ordered those Pecorini tails. So there's been a lot of tying, a lot of fly experimentation as well. Definitely also we've been getting if we're going to finish terminal tackle, we have we already had lots of steel leaders, but just experimenting with different leader sizes, lengths and whatnot, and seeing how they figure eight and whatnot. So I think how am I
figure eight?
How am I getting ready? I'm definitely getting my reels respooled into Musky Town time.
Yep. MTT.
So making sure that, whatever reels I was using for the summer, are good to go for, same as my steelhead rods.
Yeah.
The other rods. The 11 weights are ready. They're sort of, they're rigged and halved and ready to go. And I bought some bigger boxes for musky flies because the musky flies did not fit in the boxes that I had.
There you go. Well, let's see how it shapes up.
So I think that's how I'm gonna and then it's just it's just gonna be about going. I think we have an opportunity to raft some rivers for muskie. And I just, like I mentioned, I just spent a day in the Kawarthas, our buddy Nick Kennedy, who helps us host Sotos. Yeah. He just spent the whole summer fixing up his boat, like an old family boat.
Yeah, why don't we talk about that? How was that weekend? So you went out with Nick. Nick's been fixing up this boat. What is the boat? What's the boat specs on it?
The boat's like a Princecraft from the 90s.
Nice.
It's a kind of an odd duck.
Yeah.
Kind of like Nick if you ever meet him.
Because it's a center console boat, right?
It's a center console. It's about, I want to say 18 feet.
18-foot center console, Princecraft. Interesting.
Princecraft Springbok is the model.
Okay. Princecraft's made in Quebec.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Canadian brand. Yeah.
His father bought this boat to essentially downrig in Lake Ontario. That was why he purchased this boat. Yeah. And I'm sure they're going to do that. It's lives at a marina. It lives at the Scarborough Bluffs Marina. It's been living there for a long time, unused. And Nick overhauled the whole thing all summer. He ripped and with a little help, and I know our buddy John Clip from Affinity Fish helped him.
Yeah, shout out to John Clip. Yeah.
And he also drove it to North Bay to get the motor serviced. It's a 60 horsepower.
Okay.
Center console. He bought a Minn Kota Tarova with a spot lock.
Awesome.
Which is sick. And he put a Garmin screen on it, which is sick. He's got the clear view,
Yeah.
Clear view and nav and all that good stuff.
So he's really set up.
Yeah, he ripped out the floor, redid the floor, he redid all the wiring, he redid all the fuel lines. He put a lot of work into it. So it looks awesome. He put EVA foam.
Oh, I love that foam.
on the all over the deck.
And the
It's
floors.
amazing. It's got like basically a little casting platform.
Yeah,
There
if
it
you're
is.
watching on YouTube, you can kind of see a little blurry shot of the thing. Yeah, it's interesting that it's center con like that. Like I looked up Springbok and I didn't
The
see any like
Princecraft
this.
spring box. So
I wonder if it was like
it's kind
customized a little bit.
it's kind of neat. But yeah, on Saturday on was it Friday? I spent like all Friday at the marina with him, like kind of getting it over the last humps with
Yeah,
his dad.
yeah,
And then we got the boat in the water with his dad. So that was like a really cool moment, like,
that's very cool.
his dad's, you can tell his dad's really stoked
Yeah,
to be on that boat with Nick and like
oh
teaching
yeah,
Nick how to drive it,
yeah,
because
for
Nick's
sure.
a novice boater for sure. So
And sort of troubleshoot stuff, when things
I
go
will say though,
wrong.
dude, Lake Ontario is scary.
Yeah, it's really aggressive. Like the swells can be pretty insane.
Like the swells were great. The wind was kicking and the swells were scary.
Yeah. So you guys didn't go out on Lake O2 too
No,
much.
no, we kind of just putted it around and
Make sure the boat was in working order because the plan was to go somewhere else, right?
well, after that day, the plan was to go somewhere else.
Oh, okay. So originally you were thinking you'd just fish Lake
Yeah,
O a little.
yeah, and just like the way the wind forecast was looking, we were just like, oh god.
Yeah. So trailer it up
You
and
know,
head down to a different place.
yeah, we trailed it up to the Kawarthas,
Yeah.
and just really just enjoyed getting the boat all like dialed.
Hmm.
So yeah, talking about getting stuff dialed, like it was about getting the boat dialed now. Like, oh, where do the tackle boxes go? Oh shoot, like we need this little holder for the rods, that kind of stuff. Going, okay, back to Canadian Tire, like that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
because I think all fall could be
Canadian
spent
Tire.
on that boat.
Shout out to Canadian Tire, by the way.
Okay.
The smell of it. I was there recently to get a torque wrench, and the smell of the store, it's just so nostalgic. But that's good, man. Was it a fun fishing trip?
Yeah, I mean it wasn't very fruitful,
Yeah, slow fishing. No
but
muskie.
no muskie were harmed.
Couple of bass.
A couple of largemouth,
Yeah,
which was cool.
yeah.
But that's about it. But the boat's dialed and
Very cool.
the engine's running, the trolling motor's all set up, the nav's all set up, like everything's set up.
Sure.
It's all good to
Yeah,
go. It's done.
yeah.
It's just ready to rock.
So what's the next plan then? Is there any outings scheduled?
No, nothing scheduled, but I think we I think we should just keep exploring musky lakes. I don't know.
Yeah.
And when we got a favorable wind forecast, go on to Lake Ontario. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
You know.
I took a Sea-Doo out there one time and was like, holy smokers. It was like, it's pretty crazy out there. Especially when you get out to certain sections, it's like really, really wavy.
Yeah.
Big swells. So yeah. Well, fun. I'm glad that it was a good time. And hopefully next time we catch muskie. Take it on the Ottawa River. Do a little trip up here and see Uncle Mitchy, eh? Bring the boat.
Oh, sad you're leaving. Cannot
Yeah.
lie. I am
Well,
sad.
we'll have a couple drinks before I hit the road. I saw, who I saw? Yilma this afternoon.
Oh yeah.
I'm sitting at my desk and I just hear him screaming in the backyard, as he sometimes does. Yilma will just kind of show up at my house, and he was yelling Idas's name, and then he started texting me pictures of my motorcycle. And I looked out the window. He's like, "Come down here." And I went down, saw him, had a beer with him, had a Muskoka tread lightly with Yilma,
Oh
and
wow.
then got to get a drink with him though soon. What does he say? He's like, "Oh, the salmon will be in soon." I'm like, Yilma, the salmon are in, brother. I love it. We'll take a muskie fishing or something. Like be cool to get him like a giant muskie, see him freak out.
Well, he's caught one muskie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he got one years ago on Pigeon Lake on spinning tackle and lost it.
Oh really?
Yeah, but yeah,
It's a good lake for it, that's for sure.
yeah. Anyways, okay, that's been a fall primer. I mean, that feels like pretty much everything, eh?
Yeah, I think it's just it's about kind of those are the two species we're going to hone in on, and then just making sure we've got everything ready.
This was an action-packed episode, tip-packed episode. I mean, we really did kind of nerd out there for a bit. So I don't know if people are listening, they're kind of getting into the steelhead fall musky thing. Like maybe this was helpful to think about your loadout and You took some tips away, but other than that, you son of a bitch, eh? You son of a bitch.
What, me?
Yeah, just me. I'm losing my mind because it's getting late. It's time for bed, man. I gotta get this thing up. I gotta get this thing scheduled. No, I was gonna say, everybody listening, thank you so much for listening. And anything else, Albino? Words of wisdom?
No, I think that's kind of it for me. But yeah, like I was saying, we do get an extended season here in Southern Ontario for a certain species. So just make sure you're checking your regs,
Yeah,
and fishing,
yeah.
accordingly, because not every river is open, not every
Mhm.
lake is open, and not every species is open. So, obviously we keyed in on two. So
Yeah.
just make sure you know the season for the region that you're in and the
Yeah.
zones that you're in.
That you're always spaying and neutering your fish. That's it for me, Mitch Aldo.
Wow. The Bob Barker joke. That's it for me. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks for listening. Take care.
Comb your hair.